Okay, let's go ahead and go over this. It says that an elephant drinks about 225 liters of water per day. I want to know, is that going to be proportional? The number of days, is it proportional to the liters of water that the elephant's going to drink? If it is proportional, what is the unit rate going to be? So, is it proportional? Dylan?
Yes.
Yes, it is, okay. And what is the unit rate?
Wait, no, hold on. 112.5 over 1.
Not 112.5 over 1. So remember, it's the days compared to the liters of water, right? The days compared to the liters. So it is going to be a decimal.
Wait, so if I had 1 over the same number with the decimal, that would have been right? Because that's what I was saying.
No. No. Anybody else have a different unit rate? Okay, so let's go over that because I think that's where you guys are going to be messing up is you understand how to identify if it's proportional, but do you know how to find that unit rate? So first thing that we need to do is set up our table, right? And it wants to have the table set up as number of days to the liters of water. So we're going to have days on top because I want to set it up the way that I want to divide it. Is the tables always going to be set up that way?
No.
No. I just happen to like doing that. So it's going to be the days on the top, and it's going to be the liters on the bottom. So at 1 day, how much is that elephant drinking? 225, right? Now, if I increase by 2 to go to the second day, then my water is increasing by how much? By 225, right? Each time that I increase, if I'm increasing by 1 day, then I'm increasing by 225 liters. So that brings me to how many liters? 450. Okay, if I go to 3 days, 675. Right? You're increasing by another 225, right? I'm adding 225. Okay? So every day I'm just adding another 225. Okay, I'll do one more. If we go to 4 days, it's going to go up to 900. Okay, so now I need to set and see if it's proportional. So again, they want it to be days over liters. Days over liters. So I'm going to check to see, okay, is 1 over 225, what is that going to equal? So what's 1 divided by 225?
0.004.
So the 4 keeps repeating afterward, right? So it's 0.004 in bar notation over the 4. Okay? If I do the next one, if I do 2 divided by 450, it's going to be 0.004 and the 4 repeats. If I do 3 over 675, then I'm going to get 0.004 and the 4 is going to repeat. If I do 4 over 900, I'm going to get 0.004 and the 4 is going to repeat. So yes, it is proportional because all of these are equal to each other, right? So I know that it is proportional, so I'll put proportional as my answer. And then the unit rate is 0.004 repeat. That's the unit rate. That's it. It's as simple as that. Diego. Why is it not liters over days? Because the question wants it as days over liters. In the question, it tells you how to do it. Days proportional to liters. That means it has to be days over liters. Yeah. Oh, you want to give me the answer number 2? All right, so for number 2, is that proportional? Why not?
Because it says for each game is $1.50, and then for my French shoes $5. But since you don't need to keep on renting shoes, then every time it's only gonna add $1.50.
Very good. That's a perfect explanation right there, Darius. So the games are costing $1.50, and then you have to rent the shoes for $5. Once you've rented the shoes, you don't have to keep renting them. You just keep buying more games. So you pay that rental fee just one time. That first time that you're playing a game, you pay that rental fee. But then every time you want to play a game, you're just adding another $1.50 onto your cost. So it's not going to be proportional. Let's take a look at the table if we set it up. If we've got cost compared to games, when we buy one game, we're going to pay $1.50, but we're also going to pay the $5 for the shoe. So it's a total of $6.50. But like Darius said, every time we want to play another game, all we have to do is add $1.50 onto the cost. So each time we're increasing by one game, we're just increasing by $1.50 for the cost. So to play 2 games, it's going to cost us $8. To play 3 games, it's going to cost us $9.50. For 4 games, it's going to cost us $11. Everybody clear? Okay, so this right off the bat, it's not proportional. Because if we check it out, 650 over 1 is just going to give us 650. 8 over 2 is going to give us 4. So right off the bat, I notice, hey, these aren't equal. I don't have to go on anymore. The minute that I see something is not equal, I can stop. So it's non-proportional. So there is no unit rate. Yes? You wanted to do the next one? All right, so is the height going to be proportional to the minutes? Yes. And what is the unit rate going to be? Nope. Height to minutes. Height to minutes. So what should go on top? Oh, so what is actually the unit rate, Darius? 750. So we're just comparing height to minutes. So the height value, all of my height values are going to go on top of my time values. We want it to be height over the time, the minutes. So that means I'm going to do 750 over 1. And I'm going to do 1,500 over 2. And 2,250 over 3. And then 3,000 over 4. Okay, and then when I simplify each of these, they each simplify to 750. Every one of them is going to simplify to that 750 mark. So it is proportional, you're right. And then our unit rate is 750. Over 1, yeah. But you don't have to put that. You could just put 750. Good. All right, so it is proportional, and the unit rate is 750. Okay? Any questions? Okay, let's go ahead and get on to our notes then. So I gave you the notes. You're going to go ahead and put those into the pages at, right behind this one. You can glue them in later after we're done going through it, or, you know, if you've already got them glued in, that's great. You know the drill, bud. Once class time starts, we don't do that. All right. So let's take a look here. Graphing proportional relationships. So we know how to tell if something's proportional by setting it up and seeing if it has a unit rate, but we can also use a different method, graphing. If we graph a set or a set of table information, we can identify that it's proportional based off of two important rules. In order for it to be proportional, it's going to have to be a straight line that we graph, and it has to go through the origin. Straight line, and it has to go through the origin. What do I mean by the origin? Who can tell me what are the coordinates for an origin? Darius? 0, 0. So basically it's that corner, that little corner piece. Okay? If it goes or starts at the origin and graphs a straight line, then it is a proportional graph. Okay, so let's take a look here. We have the cost of tennis balls. If we order a set of 3, it's going to cost us $6. If we order a set of 4, it's going to cost us $8. A set of 5 is $10, and a set of 6 is $12. So we want to know, is this going to be a proportional relationship? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph each of these points. The first part of my table represents the x coordinate. The second part of my table represents the y coordinate. So when I'm graphing 3, 6, that basically means I'm going to go 3 to the right and then 6 units up. That's what it means. 3 to the right, 6 units up. And I always start at the origin. So I'm going to go 3 units to the right and then 6 units up, and that's where my first point is going to be graphed at. For the next one, 4, 8 means I'm going to go 4 units to the right and 8 units up. 4 units to the right and 8 units up. Then I've got 5, 10, so that's 5 units to the right, 10 units up. 5 to the right, 10 units up. And then our last one, 6 units to the right, 12 units up. So now, right now as it's graphed, I don't see if it's going through the origin or not. But what I need to do is I need to get a straight edge. So I'm going to need my ruler. Let me grab my ruler. I got him. Okay, so you will need a ruler for these. You cannot just, try and create your own, because when you guys try to do straight lines, they curve, they slant. You don't have perfect penmanship to be able to do that. You need a straight edge. If you don't have a ruler, then you can always find some kind of straight-edged item to be able to use as a ruler for the, that's okay. It'll still work. You just use it as a straight edge. Okay? So when I connect it, I'm going to connect those dots and graph them. And I'm going to extend it all the way down because I'm wanting to see if it will connect to the origin. Does it connect to the origin? Yes. It does connect to the origin. Is it a straight line? Yes. They all connect together. So it is a straight line. And it does pass through the origin. So that means that it is proportional. Straight line through the origin means that it is proportional. It has to meet both. If it's straight but doesn't go through the origin, not proportional. If it goes through the origin but it curves, not proportional. Has to be straight, has to be through the origin. That makes it a proportional graph. Everybody clear?
Yes.
Awesome. No? We still have like 17 minutes almost. Okay. Let's take a look at the next problem. I want you guys to go ahead and graph number 2, and you tell me if it's proportional or not proportional. Graph number 2, tell me if it's proportional or not proportional.
The origin is 0, right?
Mm-hmm. Not here, because people might be looking at it.
Oh, so
Okay.
it's a straight line, and it goes through the origin, but I'm not
Yes.
sure if I did it right.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
All right. Is it proportional or not proportional, Greg? Proportional. Okay, so if we correctly graph them, so if we start at the first point, 1, 4, that means we're going to go to the right 1 and up 4. The next point is at 2, 8, so that means we go to the right 2 and up 8. Then we're going to go right 3 and up 12. And then the last one is right 4 and up 16. Again, we need to connect them together to see if it's going to form a straight line and to see if it'll happen to go through the origin. Okay, so when we connect it, it does happen to hit the origin and it does connect it together as a straight line. So it is proportional because it is a straight line and it is through the origin. Straight line origin. Okay, meets both criteria. Okay, go on to the next page. Okay, let's take a look at that. It says Rachel baked 3 cakes in 2 hours, 4 cakes in 3 hours, 5 cakes in 4 hours. We want to know if the cakes are proportional to the hours. So which one of those values, cakes or hours, is going to be our x?
Oh, the hours.
The hours, right? Down here, here's our x coordinate. X coordinate is hours. So x is going to represent the hours. That means the y is going to represent the cakes. So my first set is 3 cakes, 2 hours. So what's my coordinate? Darius?
2, 3.
Very good. It's 2, 3. I'm going to go to the right 2 and go up 3. Now look at the graph. Notice that each box doesn't represent 1, 2, 3, 4. You're skipping. So you need to make sure you're graphing correctly. I'm going to go to the right until I hit the 2, and then I'm going to go up until I hit the 3. That's where my first point is going to be. What's my next point? Who can raise their hand and tell me what's the next coordinate going to be?
Oh, I can.
Kimberly?
3 hours.
Very good. 3 hours, 4 cakes. So we're going to go to the right where 3 is, and go up to 4 cakes. What's my last coordinate?
4 hours.
Very good. 4 hours, 5 cakes. So I'm going to go right to the 4 and go up to the 5. Okay, so those are my graphed points. I'm now going to connect them. Is it proportional?
No.
Why not? It's straight
Because it's not through the origin.
because it's not through the origin. So it's straight, yes. It does meet that criteria, right? Straight line, correct. Origin, nope. Doesn't go through the origin. So this is non-proportional. Any questions? All right, let's take a look at our last one. A person can burn 8 calories per minute of running. We want to determine whether the calories is proportional to the minutes. So our minutes represents what? The X or the Y?
The X.
The X. So we're going to go ahead and make our table. X is going to represent minutes. Y represents what? The calories, right? So if a person were to run for 1 minute, how many calories are they going to burn? 8. If they were to run for 2 minutes, how many calories are they going to burn? 16. If they run for 3 minutes, how many calories? 24. If they run for 4 minutes, how many calories? 32. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and graph those. You need to create your own set of points and then you graph them. So at 1 minute, it's going to be 8. So now this is a little bit different because you know, you're not going to be able to get onto it exactly, but it's going to be roughly right around here. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in for a second. Okay, I know it's going to be between the 5 and the 10. It's going to be a little bit closer to the 10. At 2 minutes, I said it was going to be 16. So 16 is just right above the 15. At 3 minutes, I said it's going to be 24. So that's just right below the 25. And at 4 minutes, it's at 32. So it's just about in between the 30 and the 35. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and connect those. And is it proportional?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, straight line. That gives us a check. Origin gives us a check. It is proportional. Now, one more thing that I want to show you guys is you can tell what the unit rate is based off of a table. If it is proportional, the unit rate is going to be at the position where x is equal to 1. So anytime you want to know the unit rate from a graph, you go over to where x is 1 and find it on the graph. So here, let's go back to the very first page.
Wait, 1 is in the first one?
Mhm.
Or-
I want to know what the unit rate is. So the unit rate, I would start at x equaling 1 and follow it up until I hit the line. So what is my unit rate?
2.
2. My unit rate is going to be equal to 2.
2 over 1.
2 over 1 or 2. Okay. What's the unit rate for number 2? It's 4. Very good. If I start up at the 1 and I follow it up until I hit the line, the unit rate is going to be a 4. What about number 3?
2.
3. No, there is none.
There is none. Why? Because it's non-proportional. No unit rate.
Told you.
There is no unit rate. Okay, and then what's the unit rate for number 4?
8.
8. We start at the 1 and follow it up until we hit the graph. it's at 8. So the unit rate is 8. Everybody clear? Pretty simple, pretty easy. Any questions? All right, go ahead and stop the notes, and you'll have a worksheet assignment